There are some monsters that, despite their vicious nature, respect them because of their magnificence, strength, or intelligence. Yet there are some that you pity, and drowners, the low-level, weak, reeking scavengers, are amongst them. They might be a challenge early in the game, but later they are no more than annoying flies that you encounter in your way to kill an actual challenging monster. Welcome to my channel. In this video, we're gonna discuss drowners in the game and also their mythology roots. So, let's get into it. Drowners are necrophages, meaning they usually feed out of corpses. They're like a human, standing on two legs with two arms and a head resembling that of a human. But with a closer inspection, the difference becomes obvious. They are skinny, tall, and bony. Their skin is greenish blue and scaly. They have gills and fins, making them look like anything but a human. A drowner resembles a corpse dredged from the bottom of a pond. It is sticky, blue or green in color, with slime and sludge oozing out of every pore, and the stench of rot wafting off of it. Drowners live both in water and land. They can be found at beach, near riversides, lakes, swamps, and also sewers, basically anywhere near water. This means that they were widespread and among the most common monsters. Folk usually saw them and, because of their humanoid form, believed them to be dead people who were drowned in the water or committed suicide by drowning themselves. Basically zombies. It is acceptable that peasants believed that story, as most of them were not educated and didn't know bestiary, and they had to come up with some explanation for what they saw. But it is funny for the CDPR to make the same mistake, not only once, but twice. In Witcher 1 and Witcher 2's bestiary of drowners, it was mentioned that they were actually dead people coming back as monsters. In Witcher 1's journal entry, it was said, "These watery creatures embody the spirits of those who cannot rest after death, and sometimes are born of fetuses aborted by magic means." Drowners are scoundrels who ended their wicked lives in the water. Drowned alive or thrown into deep water after death, they turn into vengeful creatures, which stalk the inhabitants of coastal settlements. This mistake was repeated in The Witcher 2. Sometimes a drowned man returns as a monster to haunt the living. Tormented with his death, he murders his victims. As they are already dead, drowners do not fear poisons, and even a large loss of blood makes no impression on them. This ends the list of monsters' strong points. Luckily, however, Witcher 3 corrected this mistake by saying, "It is often thought drowners arise from the bodies of those who drowned in shallow waters. Lost travelers falling into bogs, children who swim too far from the shore." Like so many other beliefs about monsters, this one is false. While drowners do look like humans from a distance, Witchers who have the dubious pleasure of examining them from close quarters have reported the numerous ways in which their anatomy differs from our own. So, where do they come from? Like all the monsters in the world of The Witcher, drowners are post-conjuncture creatures, meaning they are creatures from another world, and at the time when worlds collided, were teleported to the world of The Witcher. Drowners are not by any means strong monsters. They live in putrid, rotting fields, so poison does not affect them. No surprise there, as they are the embodiment of dirt and filth. Also, they are very primitive creatures and are not particularly brainy, so the axis sign which affects the mind is useless against them, as they have none. But they are particularly vulnerable against fire magic like Igni. Despite being rather weak, they are incredibly fast and can cover the distance with jumps and sweeping attacks. They are excellent swimmers, well suited to the muddy waters of the ponds and lakes. Drowners are predominantly pack creatures by nature, usually in groups of 3 or greater, and they attack in numbers surrounding their enemy. Drowners' leaping attack cannot be parried, so it's better to roll away or jump aside. Now let's take a look at its roots in mythology. It is where I believe the bestiary of Witcher 1 and 2 were written from. Among all the beasts from the Slavic areas that are mentioned in folk myth, Drowner is the most recognizable, and there is a lot of information about him that have been kept. Drowners are known under several names: Utopnik, Utoplek, Utopek, Topek, and so on. Drowner became the soul of a man who committed suicide by drowning himself. Such person could not rest in peace until he pulled someone under the water who can take his place. For a drowner, it was a penance for selling his soul to the devil by committing suicide. Other sources claim that drowners were illegitimate children cursed by their mother and dead without a baptism or form of a miscarriage. Drowners could watch for a victim all day, emerging from the water only at night. In his anger, he could create whirlpools or cause a flood in farmlands. But his main task was to pull people and cattle into the depths. A faith in water demons comes from people's self-preservation instinct. The stories about drowners were supposed to protect people from accidental drowning by paying more attention when being close to the water areas. That was all for today. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please leave a like and subscribe, as it would help the channel grow. Have a good day, and farewell.